Take a moment and think about everything going on in the world, everything going on in your life, and think about how you feel. As Christians, are we allowed to be angry? Let's listen to the gospel reading from this Sunday.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Since the Passover of the Jews was near, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. He found in the temple area those who sold oxen, sheep, and doves, as well as the money changers seated there. He made a whip out of cords and drove them all out of the temple area with the sheep and oxen, and spilled the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. And to those who sold doves he said, "Take these out of here, and stop making my Father's house a marketplace." His disciples recalled the words of Scripture, "Zeal for your house will consume me." At this the Jews answered and said to him, "What sign can you show us for doing this?" Jesus answered and said to them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The Jews said, "This temple has been under construction for 46 years, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking about the temple of his body. Therefore, when he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this, and they came to believe the Scripture and the word Jesus had spoken. While he was in Jerusalem for the feast of Passover, many began to believe in his name when they saw the signs he was doing. But Jesus would not trust himself to them because he knew them all, and did not need anyone to testify about human nature. He himself understood it well. The Gospel of the Lord.
Surely, as followers of Jesus, we too can indeed feel angry and upset. After all, we have lost over 500,000 Americans and 2.5 million people in the world. Our students have lost so much of their youth and education. Our seniors last year and this year have lost potential memories and opportunities. We are called to rise up with Christ and act and speak out against injustices in the world, which we have also seen over the last year. However, Paul also reminds us in Ephesians 4:26, "If you are angry, let it be without sin." Our emotions are strong, but we have the power to overcome them as well, before they lead us down the wrong path to hatred. Our God gives us a message of hope, a message of love, that we are called to follow. On our Lenten journey and our journey of life, the focus on Jesus is the end result. So while we might be angry, while we might have plenty of emotions that are justified, we are called to still find Christ present in our midst. Our Lenten journey is reflective of our life journey, and as Christians, we are destined for heaven. Even if we stumble along the way or lose our way, there is always a way back to the right path to achieve this goal. As we are almost at the halfway point of our Lenten journey, I'm reminded of a story that is told about Eagle Scouts like myself on the day of their Court of Honor. Something less than 2% of all people who join Scouts achieve. I believe that it serves as a nice reflection for us as we approach this 19th day of our 40-day sojourn up the trail to Calvary as we truly follow Christ and hope to rise with him when our journey is done. I've edited it a little bit for our Lenten journey. So let us think of the path that we have set out for on this Lent as we reflect on that path. Do you remember when you were just beginning to live out the faith, and the thought of becoming holier seemed a long way off, or even an impossible goal to achieve? Look back at the experience you have encountered in your striving to reach this achievement. These experiences should not be forgotten. You should profit by making sure the adverse ones do not occur again. Experience is a valuable teacher if you will heed its lessons. All the while you were on the trail, we watched you study, and we saw you learn by doing. Do you remember when you took your first step upon the trail? With that first step, you began to grow physically, mentally, and morally. You started living your baptismal promises. You practiced prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Some, like you, were stopping to catch their breath before continuing along the trail. You began to study more. You worked harder, gave more, and almost before you knew it, you topped the first summit on the trail. There you found a tempting green meadow by a crystal clear stream bathed in the sun. Here you were tempted to remain. Yes, you could have remained there to live all the glory of what you have achieved, but your ambition stirred you on. The trail from there was not as difficult as it had seemed. This spurred you on, and again you climbed farther. The trail was steeper and less worn. Fewer people seemed to be headed in your direction. You looked down and saw the crowds below you. You looked up and saw a few above you, and with the same determination with which you started your climb, you continue up the trail. Gaining the next summit will not be easy. Much leadership, service, and hard work has to be done. While the next phase is a much coveted position and deserves much credit, the trail does not stop there either. It still leads on to the summit. Its pathways narrow and steepen considerably as it winds its way along the narrow ledge. It becomes tougher and more trying. Many things have to be done in order to conquer these last miles. Your leadership and service to others will be tested. Only those with the greatest amount of persistence and courage are able to gain this thrill of victory. Yes, we have watched your character unfold and you become holier. But you are not done. We have watched your leadership expand into a valuable asset. We have watched your mind develop along with your prayer life and your wisdom increase. We have watched all these things in you. And now that you are on the threshold of your goal, we welcome you. For you have done your climbing in a true Christian manner. The Christian path is not easy, but God gives us the tools that we need and the trail guides in our life to get us to that mountaintop. If we get lost, Jesus leads us back, and even when we falter, He still encourages us to get to the mountaintop. As we are only at the midpoint of our journey, we may desire to rest at that green meadow, that crystal clear stream, and stay there knowing how far we've come. But God offers us so much more. So I want you to reflect on a few things as we try to rise up to the challenge of living out a Christian lifestyle. How is your Lenten journey going thus far? Specifically, what are you proud of accomplishing, and what do you still need to work on? What is stopping you from seeing heaven as your end goal? It's hard to believe that it was 1 year ago in which our whole world changed. This week, we're going to mark that day with a day of gratitude. As Jesus encourages us to rise up, I want to give you a glimmer of hope in the midst of what has been a year that most of us would like to forget. Listen to this song from a Christian perspective, and let us rise up to the challenge of being more like Christ as we continue our Lenten journey and know we are in this together. God bless you, and have a blessed Sunday.